The season's finally here, soak it up and cheer, 'cause T-Wolves Talk is here, no need to fear. The wait is now gone, so farewell so long, 'cause T-Wolves Talk is on. Yeah, T-Wolves Talk is on.
I will
All right, guys, how we doing? Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, Peyton. How are you?
I'm pretty good. You sounded like Darren there. A little
That's
bit. It's been a while, man. It's been a while for sure. I'm guessing people are going to be wondering where we've been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We could let them know. It's okay to enjoy the holidays every once in a while. You know, Thanksgiving break, see the family. Obviously, I was out of town, so kind of hard to record. But yeah, we're back on track now, and the Wolves are also kind of back on track now.
Yeah, you could say we missed the best stretch of Wolves basketball ever since we started the podcast to not do any videos. But you know what, man? I'm excited. I'm excited for what this Wolves team has done, and we feel like a real team. And I feel like we've kind of been predicting this for a while. I mean, I don't want to give us all the credit, but you know, we've had the potential all along, and I think now we're kind of putting it into play here.
Yeah, and won 6 out of the last 7 games. I can't really remember the last time we could say that about the Minnesota Timberwolves. And we have potential to win, 7 out of 8 games here tonight with the Pacers. We'll get into that maybe at the end a little bit, but kind of reflecting on the past 6 wins. Obviously, most of them were against some of the easier teams, but we did our job. We beat the easy teams at least by 20, all of them.
Right.
And some giant wins against 3, playoff teams in the Sixers, Heat, and the Grizzlies. I guess starting off with the Grizzlies game, I mean, we aren't really, a team that beats the Grizzlies too often for some reason. No. They really have our number. And especially in the first game of the season, it looked like we were going to beat the Grizzlies. It looked like we were going to break through. And, of course, you guys saw, the OT game where we lost. This one was not the same game whatsoever. We had almost a 50-point lead against this Memphis Grizzlies team at one point. All I can say is that was kind of the breakout game where I'm like, wow, okay, I think we can play good.
Right. Yeah, dude, that game was incredible. Like it wasn't even close for most of the game. Like we blew them out, and at that point it was something we had never really seen from this Timberwolves squad. And I mean, I don't know if we need to go into every game fully in depth breakdown, but there's just been a few things overall that I think have changed and that have made this team be more successful here. And I think one of the main pieces is Jared Vanderbilt.
I'm right with you on that one. Man, Jared Vanderbilt, like these past, we kind of knew at the beginning of the season, he's always been a guy who hustles and who, right, makes the extra play. But these past, 6 wins, it's become ever more apparent, I think, because we're winning. And you see the things he does that, changed the game for us to win. A lot of these wins in a very a large amount have to do with Jared Vanderbilt grabbing that offensive rebound, getting that steal, hustling, down the court. He established himself as this team's starting 4, potentially for years to come, I think, in this past stretch.
For sure. And, hey, I'll give you all the credit, man. In the beginning of the season, I was a little skeptical of if he could be that 4 of the future for us. And, man, he's really proved it. He really has proven to everyone that hustle, hard work, and a lot of athleticism is really all you need in the NBA. And, I mean, I'd love to see him develop a little bit more of an offense, maybe be able to go up for a layup against Embiid at the end of that game against the Sixers. But at this point, man, he's doing all that he needs to do, staying out of foul trouble for the most part, and he's been fantastic. What's another strong spot so far, you think, this little run that's kind of helped propel us over the edge and be a better team?
I personally think, it's the obvious answer, but Karl-Anthony Towns has been exactly all we need him to be, and that's that superstar player, man. He has been uber efficient in every single one of these wins, and it's very apparent even the games where he scores, 22, that his presence on the offensive end getting double teamed is leading to a lot of really open shots. And you see Malik Beasley having his breakout game, and you see D'Angelo Russell having these breakout games, plural, because he had a couple good games during these stretches of wins. And those two are really, really, it goes to show how critical those two are, for this team to win. When D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley don't play well, the Timberwolves often lose, as shown in the beginning of the season. And when they have, decent games, like D'Lo scoring 24 or Malik Beasley adding a 15 off the bench, it's the difference, it's the difference between winning and losing these games.
Yeah, and what you're saying about Karl Anthony Towns being that superstar is he's like, in most of these games, have you noticed that he hasn't been the person everyone's talking about? In all these games, it's always been like, oh yeah, Anthony Edwards, amazing game. Malik Beasley, amazing game. Last game against the Sixers, D'Angelo Russell, amazing game. But Karl Anthony Towns has consistently been there, and I think that his consistent play is allowing for these other players to have their breakout games, just as you said. So I think he's kind of been a closet superstar, to say, in a way to put it. But yeah, he has been very critical to all these wins, even if you're not really seeing it portrayed in the media like that. And his shot making, his efficiency, it's been elite. Even his defense has been pretty damn good. I want to jump into this guy should have been my number one vote. Malik Beasley, man. Ever since that Suns game, he's been doing exactly what we wanted him to do. And man, it really opens up the offense.
It's only a matter of time, before Malik starts dropping in those shots. And it was a little, hard to watch, honestly, at points early in the season because his threes weren't dropping. So he was trying to resort to, his version of trying to get to the cup, which often, turns into a little floater / jump shot
floater, just
on the
an
block.
awkward floater.
And he's not comfortable doing that. And he was kind of forced into doing that just to get something, man, just to try to be a positive on this team. But, it's as a team player, as a potential six man of the year in Malik Beasley, it's important for you to know your role on a team. No matter, it's for every player, no matter if you're the star player of the team, no matter if you're riding the end of the bench, if you're the 13th man on a team, you better be cheering your ass off on the bench and supporting every single guy that comes to the bench. For the star player like Cat, some games you're not going to be recognized, but you got to be that rock that's always going to be consistent. And that's what Malik is kind of held to, is being the rock in that six-man role to just hit the threes he needs to hit. And I think he was a little frustrated they couldn't do that. And it's really nice to see him come around because I love seeing Malik succeed, man. Yeah,
so I was at the Heat game, and there was a point in that game where we had the lineup of D'Lo, Ant, Malik, Jaden, and Cat out on the floor. And I was like, wow. With Malik Beasley hitting his shots tonight, with D'Angelo Russell hitting his shots tonight, with Jaden hitting a decent amount of his shots tonight, this lineup is unguardable, especially the way Ant was playing that night. When Malik Beasley is playing to his potential, it just unlocks the whole offense. When we can have him out there with those starters, man, our lineup is incredible. He is an X factor on this team, and as you've seen with his elevated play, our team has elevated its play.
Yeah, 100%. Going off into another reason I think we've been so successful in this run is obviously, it really stinks that Pat Bev went down with the abductor strain, I believe, in his left leg. Because that rating, that lineup of D'Lo, Pat Bev, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl Anthony Towns, they're the highest net rating in the NBA. And for us to go, 6-10 while Pat Bev is hurt, I think is a testament to how mentally tough this team is.
Yeah, exactly, man. And Pat Bev, you're right. He's been critical during this stretch, and he also has been an X factor. I think it's good that I think we got to just keep this a very positive episode here because there's so much positive. I don't even know if there's any negatives to talk about. I mean, that Charlotte game, we can just throw that out the way Kat said, and when he said that, when he said, this is the old Wolves, like this is blah blah blah, I was like, all right, whatever. But then when I saw them play against Philadelphia and come in one of the best wins I've ever experienced as a Wolves fan, I believed him. I was like, you know what? That happens. We're a young team. You can't always win. You're gonna have terrible games like that, and it sucked. It happened against LaMelo. It sucked for Ant, but I think that's just gonna help us in the end.
I think it's especially apparent, in that 76ers game. I feel like the old Wolves, if they let up that 20-point lead, man, it's 99%. Those guys are falling.
Not even just that. If we would have went to overtime, the old Wolves would have lost that game. I honestly, Chris, I want to know the stat. I wish we had a stat guy, but I don't think there's probably less than 2 overtime games that we have won since me and you started covering the Timberwolves. I feel like last year, every single game that went to overtime, it was an automatic loss. And to go to 2 overtimes and win, I mean, come on. That's like the best feeling in the world, to be with a team for so long and then just have that happen, man. Yeah, I think,
the biggest thing that stood out to me in that 76ers game was just the perseverance of the team. The reffing, Peyton and I are like the biggest advocates for not complaining about the reffing. We really don't think the reffing plays a part in the ending of a game if you play well enough. But I swear on, everything that this reffing almost ruined the game to an extent, because you lose Karl Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniels, and I believe Jared Vanderbilt, right? And for the mental perseverance of D'Angelo Russell and the rest of that squad on the floor to stick with it and keep grinding in the overtime, even when we were down by 3 at points, to keep grinding, keep getting shots up, is a testament to where I think this team could be next spring, hopefully in the playoffs, man. Because
this spring, you mean?
Or this spring, yeah.
Upcoming spring, yeah, come on.
Only good teams do that, man. Only good teams can come back from major losses like that. Like Vanderbilt is the heart and soul of your team. Karl Anthony Towns is the best player on your team. And Jaden McDaniels gives you that length to guard Tobias Harris, who was killing us that game. I mean, it's incredible. It really is a testament to the will of that team in that game.
Did the 2-minute report come out yet on that game? I haven't really been on Twitter or anything lately, because I would love to see how many missed calls there were.
I think it does the morning after. We know. Everyone saw the free throw discrepancy.
Yeah, bro.
Embiid shot more free throws than our entire team, and it's a little frustrating because I'm starting to think the Wolves are a little bit, like the refs don't like us. I really don't know why.
Why not, Chris? What do you mean you don't know why?
Well,
who's on the bench the whole time yelling at the refs? Pat Bev, he's yelling at the refs. Who's complaining every time they get a call? Karl Anthony Towns. There's a reason the refs don't like us, and it's just a snowball effect, and we've been talking about this for the whole season. I mean, the refs aren't going to like you if you're always complaining every single call they make. And there is times, man, when Karl will have a blatant foul, and he will be complaining to the refs like it wasn't a foul at all. I mean, I get why the refs sometimes aren't on our side, but that 76ers game, it was outrageous. And I'm usually not the one to say that it's the refs, but
it almost looked like a rigged game. I mean, how does Embiid shoot 22 free throws in one game?
I mean, dude, there's some points in that overtime where it was like you literally can't do anything because he will catch the ball and just go to the hoop and just chuck up a shot, and no matter how straight up you are, it's a foul. No matter what, it's like they were already going to blow the whistle, no matter what.
A little off topic, but I feel like the reffing has just been a little brutal. I don't know if you saw that clip of Steph Curry going to the rim and getting bodied, tackled to the ground and not calling the foul. And you don't see Stephen Curry get up and just start screaming at people.
Yeah, no.
I mean, my goodness, man.
Yeah, they're humans, man. They're humans for sure, but it has been brutal this year. I think all the maybe the new rule changes and stuff, they're kind of put them in an awkward position because they don't know what's a foul anymore and what's not.
I will say, though, something that seems to be going for D'Angelo Russell is still the rip-through. And I thought that was one of the fouls that was going to be outlawed. And you've seen the past few games. D'Lo does the rip-through almost every single play.
Yep.
And if that defender's hand is up in his face, he's going to...
Yeah, sometimes they call it a reach-in foul rather than a shooting foul is what I've noticed. It's not a shooting foul anymore. But speaking of the man, D'Lo, ice in the veins, Chris. You've always been a D'Lo supporter. You kind of almost jumped off the bandwagon there at some point in the in that down stretch there. You were close. You were close to the ledge. You kind of talked your way back, and I'm sure you're still a big D'Lo guy because he's been phenomenal. And not even – all right, he's been phenomenal in the fourth quarter. We'll give him that. Give him that.
You see, like, if you go on the Timberwolves website, you see Anthony Edwards, all his jerseys are sold out. You see Anthony Towns, almost all of his jerseys are sold out. And then you see D'Angelo Russell, and there's a lot of sizes available in D'Angelo Russell jerseys. There's not a lot of Wolves fans that, go out to get a D'Angelo Russell jersey. They think he might get traded. They don't like him. They think he's inconsistent. I've always loved D'Angelo Russell, and I have a picture of him. I don't know if you guys can see. I will tilt my computer.
Nice.
You see that photo? Little D'Angelo Russell image on the wall. I got my D'Lo jersey.
You have the tattoo actually of the now clock on your arm.
I might have to add that to my arsenal, man. But
yeah.
Holy moly, he was loaded that night, man. There was no more loading.
Well, it was funny because Jim Pete, I was telling you about this, Chris, when during the game, it was like in the fourth quarter, he was like, you know what, our point guard needs to start making some shots. He's really just out there doing nothing. He kind of had a call to action, D'Angelo Russell. And right after that, he made 6 of 8 threes and just completely went off. Because most of his points were in the fourth quarter and the overtimes. And what did he end with, 34?
30. Isn't it 36? 36 to 38, I believe, actually.
Something like that. But he was unconscious. And again, his shots are very... The average basketball fan will see him take a shot and be like, you could get a better shot than that. But with D'Angelo Russell, for some reason, he likes those contested fadeaway twos.
He was taking a lot of those, the classic D'Angelo Russell, mid-range twos. But I noticed, obviously, he made 6 out of his 7 threes in the fourth quarter and overtime. But he went to the same move every time. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he just did a little sidestep to the right. He was open. I don't know why they weren't guarding him a little tighter, considering he's not the most athletic player. So you can go out on D'Lo, and he's most likely not going to get by you,
unless you're Duncan Robinson.
I don't think D'Angelo Russell was going to miss not last night, but in the Sixers game, I really don't. I think he was seeing the hoop perfectly.
Yeah. Would you have had D'Angelo Russell take that shot at the end of regulation instead of Anthony Edwards?
Yes, and that was the only mistake I thought Finch made, was giving Ant free reign on the fourth quarter shot to try to, or was that the first overtime? Whatever it was. The Anthony Edwards, just hold the ball for 18 seconds. If that's your game plan, I'm okay with that. I would like D'Lo to take it. I'm okay with that. But Ant, let's try to get to the rim, man. Right. I knew he was going to take that, step back three, and I'm sure the Sixers knew. They watched film on him. I mean, he did that a couple times last year too when they gave him the last shot. Take it to the rim, man. He's unstoppable when he chooses to take it to the rim. That Euro step, 8 times out of 10 is going to work, man. It's going to work. He does that reverse so smooth every single time, and I think I don't know. I love Anthony Edwards, man, but he's just got to be a smarter decision maker sometimes.
Yeah, he's definitely a young player, man. You can tell. And I guess we should touch on him, man, because I was at that Heat game, and, I mean, we haven't seen it all season. He has not had a perfect season up to this point, but in that Heat game, I saw greatness, man. I saw the birth of a superstar. I saw the birth of maybe one of the faces of the league in the future, Chris. That was the real deal, and I witnessed it in person.
I agree. That 48-point game against the Warriors was, we were losing by a lot that game. And while it was impressive, I thought this 33-point game with 15 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 assists,
against Jimmy
Anthony
Butler.
Edwards.
He's that guy.
First of all, I love him because he's just excited. He wants to change the culture here. He's excited to be a Wolf. He's always pumping the crowd up. He's always into the game. He always chanting Wolves back when we win. I love that. And to see him, have a little chippiness in him. He's always a happy-go-lucky guy, but I was very happy when I saw him stand up to Jimmy Butler. That was very nice to see, man. He didn't even have to do anything. You just felt I feel like you were there. I mean, the whole building had to feel the emotion of Ant and Jimmy just staring each other down for a second. I mean,
because Jimmy plays that tough guy, man, and I'm not one to say if he's really a tough guy, if he really is behind his words, but he's always been that tough guy, and no one really stands up to him, and especially the way he treated the Timberwolves at the end of our at the end of our marriage with him. Obviously, some of it is rightfully so. I don't think he's all in the wrong in that whole situation.
But man, there's bad blood there.
There's bad blood, and no one has really stuck up to him to this point. Cat, not really. But to see Ant at the first chance that he got to stick up to Jimmy Butler to kind of just be like, no, man, like you're not gonna bully me. That was great.
I mean, that just feels good. That just feels good as a Wolves fan, man. Like that's our arch nemesis, man. We finally get to see someone take him on.
It felt like he didn't just have his own back there. He didn't just have Cat's back because Jimmy Butler called Cat soft. All this, he had every single one of our every single one of us. He had our back right there because we all hate Jimmy Butler, and for him to stick up for that, he stuck up for all of us. And Anthony Edwards, man, I got a really important point here. And also, guys, we have not been looking at the comments here. We're trying out this new, doing the live here. So we're going to check out the comments here at the end and kind of go through them. But for now, we just want to stay to the point. Don't want to get distracted by the comments. But we appreciate everyone right now tuning in, and we'll get to your comments. Promise you that. Chris, I've been thinking about when in LeBron James's career did people know that he was going to be one of the GOATs? When in Michael Jordan's career did people know he was going to be one of the GOATs? It couldn't have been in the second season. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. When is it too quick? Like, are we still in that point where Anthony Edwards could be one of the greatest basketball players of all time?
Especially for LeBron and Jordan. Both of them winning Rookie of the Year. Both of them. LeBron was, deemed a prodigy when he was in high school. And I think that's why it's so impressive that he lived up to it. But, both of them in their first, 2 or 3 seasons, everyone knew they had a shred of greatness in them. Like Michael had the best rookie season of all time. But you didn't really know until they started winning those chips. And when LeBron went to Miami, man, that's kind of when we knew oh shit, LeBron's going to be an all-time great. And when, Mike finally beat the Pistons, man, and won those first few, Mike's going to be one of those all-time greats. He's going to be competing with Larry and Magic. So I think the next step, in this for Anthony Edwards is to keep improving on efficiency and keep leading that team deeper in the playoffs. I think it is too young to declare what Anthony Edwards is going to be. He is one of the rawest. He's one of the best raw prospects ever. He has, compared to a lot of these other lottery picks, he has barely any basketball skill or knowledge. So it's incredible what he's already doing with his limited, ability. Who knows? Anthony Edwards could be a top 10 player ever. We have no clue. We have no clue if he's gonna just be a middle of the pack, player. I don't know. He could be a Wiggins, but I think the thing that really stands out to me is he does have that alpha dog mentality, and he is upset when he doesn't win, and he pushes players, and he's a leader when he's young, and those are all qualities that Mike, LeBron, and all the greats had. So there's a lot of promise.
I think you're kind of touching on right where the fact. I mean, he's a great basketball player. Don't get me wrong. He's a generational athlete, one of the best athletes in the league right now. But I still don't even think that's his best quality. I think his persona and just the way that he's putting this whole city on his back, and really, there's not a single Wolves fan that doesn't like Anthony Edwards. And in fact, there's not many NBA fans unless you're a Heat fan and you're a fan of number 2, whoever that was, or you're a Raptors fan, or you're a diehard LaMelo fan. Everyone loves Anthony Edwards. I mean,
man.
He's just a great personality. He's exactly what this league needs. And I think that's what kind of has given him that chance to, you know what, man, I don't want to say it too early, but I think he could be one of the best ever to play basketball. He's very young. He's very young.
Big statement right there.
But but I witnessed it, Chris.
He would say the exact same thing too.
I witnessed that. I'm telling you, man, there was something special.
I mean, we went to the Pelicans game earlier too, and we obviously saw that, post or dunk and transition. Like, watching him in real life and not on TV is a complete different, like you saw it. He jumped over Gabe Vincent pretty much. He put his nuts in Gabe Vincent's face.
He did. He disrespected him and his family.
Again, we're cutting down on the swearing, but that ref is such an asshole, man.
Yeah.
How do you call a charge on that play? Even if it was, man, and it wasn't. First of all, he's moving. Even if it was,
it's an unwritten rule. It's like in baseball, man. It's the Tatis Grand Slam thing. It's an unwritten rule. If you posterize if he misses the dunk, call a charge. If he makes the dunk, it's an and one. It's a simple basketball knowledge that I don't know. It was terrible.
Obviously, that dunk was a big part of the game, but I really do think the biggest part of the reason, we were down 12 at one point in that game, and Anthony Edwards lit the building on fire with those 2 giant threes.
Yep.
And that's when it started to get rolling. The fans started roaring, chanting Rachel Nichols.
Oh yeah,
that's
electric.
That's when. That's when.
I
had to ask, did you participate in the Rachel Nichols chant?
Of course, man. I mean, I've been to 3 games so far. That was the furthest I've been so far. But yeah, we were chanting Rachel Nichols, me and Henry, friend of the show for sure. But yeah, dude, there's just so much good things to talk about. Like I can't even. We haven't even touched on all of it, obviously, but there's just been so much great things that have happened in this stretch, and I'm upset we missed it, but I'm excited because we got a real basketball team that we're covering now, Chris.
And I'm gonna make it. It's not even really a bold take, but the Grizzly win, the Sixer win, and the Heat win were not only the greatest wins of the season so far, but some of the greatest Timberwolves wins of all time, in my opinion, and for really different reasons. The Grizzlies win, first of all, was blowing out a team that we have had trouble with. Was blowing out the Grizzlies. Then you go to the Heat game. The Heat game was monumental in the fact that I know we beat him, with D'Angelo Russell, but it was the fact that Anthony Edwards had conquered Jimmy Butler. I think was the biggest one of that. That's
what does your tweet say?
Oh yeah, I think Basshole Media had its most liked tweet ever. I didn't even know until Peyton told me the other day, but I think I went on some Heat Twitter page and I said like, it's funny like y'all have Anthony Edwards' name in your mouth so much, like Ant is Jimmy's new daddy, and it got 40 likes. And I'd like to say that's what you call getting ratioed, Heat Country or whatever your name is.
Oh yeah, dude, it's been fun because we haven't been posting podcasts, but we have been keeping up on the social medias for sure, Instagram, Twitter. If you guys didn't see our Darren episode, but yeah, Chris, do you think it's time to head to the comment section? We don't want to keep people waiting for this Pacers game. I guess maybe we could say a few words about the Pacers game first, and then we could jump into these comments.
Before Peyton and I started, I know for sure Jade McDaniels is out. Jared Vanderbilt was a game time decision. If you guys look at your phone right now, it'll probably have if he's playing or not. Peyton and I have no clue.
Nope.
Miles Turner's out for the Pacers. Bev's going to be out for, I think another week.
Come on.
And, the starting lineup is probably going to consist something of D'Lo, Ant. We'll possibly see Malik in there today, and hopefully Vando or Cat or Naz and Cat. So, also one thing to touch on too is I absolutely love how they finally moved on from McLaughlin and put Ballmero on the backup spot.
How did we not even talk about that? He was. I thought he was great. He did exactly. He kind of looked like a freshman going out there in the varsity game for the first time. He played tentative, which I fully expect. He took a few bad shots. One for sure was that mid-range. But, that's just – and the players looked a little confused out there sometimes when he was trying to run the offense. But just having him out there, he looked like an NBA player. I think it's going to be great having him play more minutes.
Yeah, but we'll get to your guys' comments right now so we don't keep you waiting for the Pacers game. If you're listening on – we'll add this even if they're listening on – Apple Podcast, Spotify. You guys can hear some of the comments. We'll touch on some.
Yeah, for sure. One other thing, guys. We're gonna be streaming the game on Wednesday against the Wizards. Is that a 6:00 start game? I think. So we'll start the stream at 5:50. If you guys want to submit a video to be played at halftime, because I noticed that we've always had this dead time at halftime. We'd love to let the fans just give a little message out. If you guys want to say like, "Hey guys, my name's John Smith, watching the stream. Hope the Wolves get a dub." That's all you want to say. We'll put that on during halftime, and everyone will see it that's watching. So I think it will help that build the community. Greg Weasley's going to be submitting a video. John Miller, a lot of people. So just make sure to get on that. So let's get going, Chris. You can start off.
I don't have the comments in front of me. You're probably going to have to do that.
All right, sounds good. Mason Schmidt, longtime supporter of the channel, says, "What's up, boys? It's been too long." It has, man. The break, it was tough. but it had to happen, and I think me and Chris are more motivated now than ever, and honestly, it was exactly what we needed, because we stopped doing the podcast there at a rough time, at a dark time in Timberwolves history. So I think,
hey man, you touched on it all.
Yeah. Lucas W says Miles Turner not playing, Vando not playing, not Vando or Jaden, but hopefully we pull it out. So he's saying no Vando or Jaden, but there's also no Miles Turner. So I think we're a better team than the Pacers. I think, but they with Malcolm Brogdon, man, they kind of killed us last year.
Yeah, there was another overtime game against Pacers last year.
That was the one where Ant had the rim out right on the shot.
That was actually
heartbreaking.
we mentioned that, man. One of those step back threes,
dude. That
last minute.
That was heartbreaking.
That was.
Mason Schmidt also says Nathan nighttime tonight. I don't know, man. I feel like there's been so many times when it should have been Nathan nighttime, and they just haven't put him in. Like, I've been calling for Nathan Knight to get minutes for a long time, and he just has not.
Hey man, let's hope we'll probably get to see a lot of Balmero tonight. Probably get to see a lot of Nathan Knight.
I mean, this should be Nathan Knight's night.
You could potentially, honestly, see him in the starting lineup maybe if they choose to go Nas still being that backup center. So who knows?
I don't know if we'll see that, but let's talk about silencing Jimmy. I'll meet you in the back, Butler. I mean, we've touched on that a lot. That's what Nathan Roshka said. Yeah, we touched on that. It was a great feeling. I hate Jimmy Butler. We have Vando on a very friendly team contract. That's very true.
Next 3 years.
Vando is available. My bad. Gave you some Doogie news. Just kidding. Love Doogie. Come on now.
All right. Well, that's good. That's good. Flu game. Vando. Flu game tonight.
Oh, yeah, I see. This is hard because I got to read the comments that are happening right now. John Miller says, "Do you think we can keep this consistency up?"
Is he talking about the Wolves or the podcast?
The Wolves, not the podcast. The podcast is always up in the air. We never know about that.
Tough month for December. I think we are gonna go. I think it's gonna be okay, man. If we can go 500 in December, good to go, man. I think we can make the 6th seed.
Yeah, guys, everyone in the chat right now, make sure to like this stream. And let us know also, do you like the live podcast format? Chris, what do you think so far about it?
I like it. It's fun. It's almost like, to be me and Peyton, it's kind of the same exact thing. We're not really focused on the comments. It's kind of just a pre-recorded Timberwolves talk, but it is nice having you guys watching live.
Because it seems like you guys are, I mean, obviously I'm not having time to read all these comments, but it seems like you guys are interacting well in the chat, which we love to see. We love our community. And if you guys are here, man, we really would appreciate if you guys sent in those videos for the halftime thing. I think that would be awesome, just to see everyone together. And yeah, guys, if you're new here, we love you guys. We love the community. We love the Wolves, and this has got to be the happiest I've ever been as a Wolves fan.
For sure. All right.
So
yeah, I mean, I agree, man.
All right, guys. So we're gonna see you guys on Wednesday at 5:50. Make sure to send your videos to Timberwolves_talk_ at Instagram. And yeah, everyone have a great game. Let's hope the Wolves get a dub tonight, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.